Thanks for tuning in to Men for the Win, a podcast hosted by David Kufis and Dan Thompson, two avid fans who appreciate well-played baseball, especially when it's done by the Twins. Men for the Win is sponsored by the Grand Group with Edina Realty. Are you looking to purchase a new home in the Twin Cities area? Or perhaps you're trying to sell your current home? Whether you're upsizing or downsizing, the Grand Group with Edina Realty will meet all of your housing needs. Contact the Grand Group by emailing thegrand, G-R-A-N, group at edinarealty.com or call them by phone at 612-817-8751. The Grand Group with Edina Realty, 7-time Minneapolis-St. Paul Magazine Super Agent Award winners. Men for the Win is part of the Pulltab Sports Network, covering sports, culture, and entertainment across the Midwest. Check them out at pulltabsports.com and give them a follow on all your social media platforms at Pulltab Sports. On this episode, David and Dan recap the Twins' 3-game series against the Kansas City Royals. Thanks for listening. Enjoy. Thanks for tuning in to Men for the Win. My name is David Kufis. With me, as always, is Dan Thompson. The Twins head to Kansas City. They drop 2 of 3. Not really that surprising, Dan. The Royals might still be playing for something, but maybe hard to say at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot to play for. They're 73-70, David. They are playing the meaningful baseball games in September that will keep people still watching them and not just watching the Chiefs.
Yes. Well, and who knows, Dan, the Chiefs might need some effort on that front in order to get people to still watch them. But quick note before we get to the recap, I am still currently a Twin season ticket holder. I have until the end of the month.
You're not canceling. There's no way you're canceling. You're playing this out so slowly and pathetically. Come on, tell them you're going to stay.
The Twins each year, they have this season ticket holder event where they bring in like big inflatables for kids, and they have the TC Bear train running, and you can go play catch on the field and whatnot. It was interesting, Dan. So this is the second year we've done this. They have face paint and balloon animals, and so I took my oldest, and she had a great time. We played a lot of catch on the field. It was a lot of fun. Dan, she throws the ball pretty well, actually. She just needs to not be afraid of it when I throw it back to her, Dan. That's the problem I'm working on right now. But it was fun, Dan, to commiserate with some of the other season ticket holders. And my favorite part about this is what people were most upset about in the exact moment, like not as a whole for the Twins, is that they had all these things for free, but they didn't offer free food for this event, which I guess here's the thing. If you're the Twins, there's maybe 200, 300 people at this event. Like, it can't be more than $5,000 to do the food for free. And this is a group of people who are very, very annoyed. Give them some free hot dogs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just so funny. That's what most people were upset about.
I'll tell you the truth. I'm a little confused by your tactics.
Free food is always a good idea, right? This works with high school students, college students, grown people. If you're feeding me, I will come. I'll move your couches for you. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yes.
If you're going to give me a good meal for that. So even if it's stadium fare, like a dollar dog, I'll eat a couple of those and talk about baseball.
It's quite frustrating. But anyway, Dan, enough about that here and my dilemma as a season ticket holder. Let's go ahead and jump into the series recap.
Series recap.
Game 1, Dan. Twins lose this one 2-1. The long-awaited return of Pablo Lopez goes about as well as hoped. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks, and a home run. Michael Wacha on the other side, though, pitches quite well for the Royals. He keeps this a very low-scoring affair. 5 2/3, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. All the scoring for the Royals actually comes in the bottom of the third on a Mikal Garcia home run. And it was an 0-0 count, middle fastball. I mean, the thing is, you got to throw that pitch sooner or later, I guess. It was a little too middle for me, even on 0-0, but that put the Royals up 2-0. The Twins' lone run comes in the top of the 5th on back-to-back doubles from Brooks Lee and Johnny Pareda. Now, if you didn't know who Johnny Pareda is, we might need to update you. He got called up because the Twins needed a body to catch, basically, but he did pretty well here for the team.
Yeah, I mean, they called him up for the Saints. He's only played 40 games in the big leagues. He's 29 years old. He's not the answer probably for next season, but right now it's him and Mickey Gasper as the catchers. So after that whole stretch with Vasquez and Jeffers, now we get Pareda and Gasper seemingly the rest of the way.
Really interesting, right? That those guys stayed healthy. Even last season after the collapse, Jeffers and Vasquez were still pitching. So you can't be like, yeah, maybe it's not a real injury and they just don't want to play for a terrible baseball team. No, these guys are both, they're both injured, certainly. Both bullpens pitch flawlessly here and the Twins offense can't get it done. They go 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position compared with the Royals, Dan, who went 0 for 2, but they got the big hit from Garcia, which put him over the edge here. Brooks Lee had 2 errors in this game. Neither led to runs, but your everyday shortstop, Dan, you don't want to see 2 errors in one game. You don't want to see 2 errors in one series, Dan.
Is it a case at all of him trying to do too much? Could he have eaten those baseballs and not made the play that he was trying to make? Or
The second error, potentially, the throwing error, potentially, but the catching error, no. That
well, we know that Brooksley's a little bit afraid of the baseball, right? You know, it comes right at him, and sometimes it's like, oh, gosh. Get out of the way.
Here it is. All right, well, let's go here. Game 2, Dan. This was ugly, and it was ugly early. Twins dropped this one 11-2. Joe Ryan, 2 innings pitched, Dan. 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks. The man could not get a hold of the baseball. 2 strikeouts, 1 home run. It's weird to have a pitcher, Dan, who's either a Cy Young candidate or terrible from game to game. You don't know which guy you're going to get.
No, and he had those comments about Sonny Gray as well, and how if the Twins had signed Sonny Gray, then maybe they'd be in a very different spot. I think we all have our theory of like, what was the one move that really was that created the snowball? But it's interesting having arguably your best pitcher saying things like that publicly and being so upset. I mean, if there's one guy in the Twins team that you think is going to publicly criticize the Pullads or the decision making of the higher ups, it's going to be Joe Ryan, no doubt about it, which is one of the reasons I think they need to keep him around, because I think he's going to say the things that the fans are thinking potentially. I just think that kind of stuff actually really endears him to Twins fans.
Do you think that he would sign an extension if the Twins offered it?
I think so, because I think you take the money when you can get it for baseball, right? I mean, you just never know as you're a pitcher, and those guaranteed contracts, I mean, that's everything to these guys.
Yeah, so top of the second, back to the recap. Twins get both of their runs here. First comes on a Buxton RBI triple, and then Buxton scores on a Luke Keeschel ground out. So Twins are down 5-2. Thomas Hatch, for a second straight outing in a row, Dan, gets lit up. 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk. Dan, the piggyback doesn't work when both pitchers are terrible. Like, I guess in a technical sense,
it does.
Sure, it was a piggyback, but it took more than 2 pitchers, and they were both bad. It was Krisky, actually.
Pop Rice Krispies.
And Michael Tonkin, who finish out that game, Dan.
You're not going to get to play that anymore. They let go of him, so we're going to have to find somebody else to do the Krisky
I'm super annoyed because I just put the effort in to cut that sounder, and now
which
it's
is no small
use.
effort, right, to get it done well.
No.
I guess this is as good a time as any. So we mentioned Ryan Jeffers. He's been placed on the concussion injured list. We wish him well. They have called up Carson McCusker, just like you said. Maybe they'll give him a longer look here. And then Pearson Ole, who I thought was gone from the organization, but apparently he had cleared waiver, which wasn't a shocker, I suppose, in that way. But he is now back with the team as well.
All right, well, Dan, take us through Game 3.
Yeah, so Game 3 was a bright spot, right? So the Twins win this one. They end a 6-game losing streak. This was their second 6-game losing streak of the season. So now that's over, Buxton gets him on the board with another leadoff home run, his 30th home run of the season. He is the only other 30-20 guy, 30 home runs and 20 stolen bases, is Kirby Puckett. And I think as far as Twins lore and fandom, if you're in the same sentence with Kirby Puckett for something like that, that's a really big deal. This was actually also, Phil Miller pointed this out, this was his 9th consecutive extra base hit. And Phil Miller says that Buxton joked before the game, yeah, it sucks, I'd like to steal a bag once in a while. He hasn't singled since August 29th. It's more than a week. He's playing well. Like, this is not like, you know, when Royce Lewis was 1 for 37 or something earlier on this season. Top of the 4th, Twins get 2 more on a Clemens home run, which crucially came after Keeschel had grounded into a double play with 2 on and nobody out. So it's 3-0. And Bailey Ober had his best start since August 9th. He went 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. That start I alluded to, August 9th. He pitched 6 innings and allowed 1 run, actually in a loss to the Royals. So he kind of got back. And obviously the Royals, he's had his struggles with them over the years here, dating back to last season in that opener. This is only his 5th win of the season. I was a little surprised. I know he hasn't pitched well this year, but he's labored. 5 seemed a little bit low. And then top of the 6th, Twins score again on a marvelous double steal by Lewis and Keeschel. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. It's 4-0. Top of the 7th, and the Royals do score in the bottom of the 6th, but the Twins get another on a bases-loaded walk by the Moose himself, Matt Wallner.
Yes, but a very cute moose. Make all the boy moose go.
And Royals actually threaten in the 8th and the 9th, but I think if there's one thing we know about this Twins bullpen, it can really shut down an opponent late in games when they really need to be. And so the Twins get out of those jams. Just one other note about Buxton there. He actually left soon after getting hit by a pitch on the kneecap. It didn't seem serious. It seemed kind of precautionary, but they did bring in Outman late in that game to take his place in center.
Yeah, I think he's fine. As we know, Dan, I have a lot of medical expertise, but like, if you're going to take a ball off of the leg, it's pretty rare that you get hit with a baseball and it's like, oh, you tore your ACL.
I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school.
Stranger things have happened, Dave.
I suppose. Dan, you know what was strange to me this week is realizing it's the start of September. Football season is starting. The kids are back at school. No longer, Dan, is it time for the barbecue. Now we're shifting into the fall season. The events are shifting indoors, but you still need to bring that food, Dan. You need to bring the party trays. You need the deli meats. You need the rolls here for the meals. And the place you should go, Dan, is Cub Foods. Let me tell you, it's your one-stop shop for all of your grocery needs with everyday fresh products and a wide selection. You'll be in great shape to host the next event at your house. I'm hosting a thing, Dan, tomorrow night for the Vikes game. I'm going to Cub Foods. I need to get a veggie tray. I need to get deli meats. I need to get dip and sauces. I'll be there at Cub. I love the Corey Cub personally, but you can grab your fresh produce, deli meats, party trays, and bakery all in one stop. With over 100 locations in Minnesota, check out your local Cub on your next shopping trip for all of your summertime essentials.
Catch 'em all, Kirby Puckett!
Puckett's Picks winner.
David, the listeners getting back on track here. This was their first win since actually the last Royals series. They picked Buxton, who had 7 points. That was enough for the bonus as well. Hogs had Lewis with 5. I had Keyshaw with 3. David had, that's you. You had Wallner with nothing. How about you go ahead and give us the season recap here, the season standing?
Yeah, this is probably going to be the tightest that we've ever had a season finish. So right now, Dan, you're in the lead at 16.5. Hogs is within striking distance at 15. Then I'm at 12.5. And the listeners are at 12. And right now, Dan, we're talking elimination numbers. Nobody is eliminated from potentially winning Puckett's Picks this season.
6 series left. That half-point bonus, I think, really makes a difference, too, down the stretch here. So we'll see. I'm hoping to hang on here and have some pride, have some bragging rights in this offseason.
Beast versus Bench.
Is losing fun? Is losing fun?
I know that Buxton had the most points here, but I'm actually going to give it to Royce Lewis. 3 for 11. I know that's not fantastic, but he played well in the field, and he had 3 stolen bases, which you're going to talk about, too, a little bit later. But, Dan, you know what he's thinking here. You got to pump those arbitration numbers up, Dan. You have more stolen bases on the sheet. You're doing everything you can, because it's like a 2 for 1, right? Because now you get a single, so it bumps up those batting points he's so concerned about. And now it's like, this is just the gravy on top of the mashed potatoes, Dan, stealing those bases.
The fact that he is running more is very interesting to me. A leg out and beat out a double play. Like, I think this is an encouraging sign for Royce Lewis.
Who do you have on your piece?
Well, I went with Pablo Lopez. He comes back. He did not need to come back. And the cynic in me, or in you, really, could say, well, he only came back because, he was potentially going to get traded and maybe he wants to look better for other teams, or maybe he's angling for some kind of an extension. I mean, it is an unnecessary comeback. I will say this, though. I think players do like to come back and pitch late because they want to go into the offseason feeling like they have done something, feel like it's a little bit more normal. So I really hope that he's able to put it together a couple more starts like this for his own sake and certainly for the team's sake in 26.
Yeah, no, he said that. Like, one of his big reasons for coming back is because he wants that traditional offseason. And I really respect that. And truly, I think that it gives the fans a little bit something to look forward to every Pablo Lopez start.
It is Pablo Day,
pitcher,
David. Every time he pitches, it's Pablo Day. Wave the yellow flags there.
For no other reason. Yeah, for no other reason. Dan, I got to go with Joe Ryan here on my bench, though. I shouldn't have to question every other start whether you're secretly injured. Remember, 2 starts ago when he got rocked, I was like, you know what? Maybe he's having an issue and he's sort of hiding injury like he has before. And then he had a great start. And now I'm back in the same boat. The man couldn't throw strikes, Dan, to save his life.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Isn't that just part of the Joe Ryan experience, though, is the ups and the downs?
I suppose to some extent, but not this drastically over the course of 4 starts.
Well, so up and down experiences. I'm going to talk about the Hatch Krisky experience here that the Twins have had. So Krisky, as we've mentioned, is gone.
Let's pop Rice Krispies.
We got to find a way to still use that next year. Maybe he'll be back because we've seen this before where a guy, I think he was only DFA'd, so he could have been back on this roster. But Hatch is so strange to me. He has these really, really good outings and then terrible outings. And I just think we haven't really seen guys earn these spots going forward. You could argue that maybe a guy like Topa has done enough to be your 7th reliever again next season. And Funderburk actually.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say, like, the way you started that sentence made me think that you're thinking, oh yeah, he's earned a spot for sure. But 7th reliever, I can get behind 7th reliever.
No, but I think the only guy really, maybe Funderburk has shown his quality, and maybe Tonkin too, just a little bit. But these other guys have shown that they're just other guys. Like, they're not guys that you're gonna want going forward.
Yeah, that's not the back end of the bullpen. I don't even know that that's the front end. That's the guys you go to when you just need a couple guys to throw.
Totally.
Right?
And the Twins have had plenty of those guys. It's just, I feel bad for them because this is their moment to seize, but they just haven't seized it.
No, and I don't know that you can blame the defense either. Like, it hasn't been stellar, but it hasn't been terrible.
No, it hasn't. Well, let's talk about Rocco.
Rocco's Rewind.
Dan, I think it had to feel good to manage game one like it was a game that mattered. I think maybe there was a little bit of psychological stuff happening here.
I can't compete with you physically, and you're no match for my brains.
I mean, he's sitting there, he sees Pablo out there, and maybe he got a little bit confused, like, oh, this must be a game that matters because
it's
Pablo
May
is
again,
pitching.
or something like that. We're on a 13-game winning streak, aren't we?
But when you're looking at the box scores and only like 2 or 3 pitching names show up, like that's got to be kind of fun for Rocco to actually make some decisions that matter. As insignificant as the difference is between your bullpen arms, it still had to be fun for Rocco in game one to treat that like, hey, a close baseball game that we could win. I might actually have to put some thought in the decision here to see if we can come away with it.
Well, that kind of goes into mine because I don't get the sense that he's actually lost the team's ear, which is kind of remarkable for me because of all these changes. Maybe they just don't blame Rocco for all these things because so many guys got traded. But I see guys playing hard. I see guys running things out. I see them playing as if they are playing for spots on the roster next season. And I like that. I think that speaks well to Rocco. I know he's likable. I think the guys like him, but that speaks more like they respect him enough where I think they want him back next year. That's kind of how they're playing.
I want to build a championship culture.
Dan, you removed the cancer from the clubhouse. That is Carlos Correa.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
And all of a sudden, Rocco can right the ship. If you have a bad first mate, Dan, you can't expect the captain to lead a flawless endeavor searching for gold.
It's good a time as any. In the last 15 games, Carlos Correa is 15 for 63, 6 runs, 2 home runs, 6 RBI, 4 walks, 16 strikeouts, a slugging percentage of .365, and an on-base percentage of .284. This is kind of the Carlos Correa that we've come to expect in Minnesota, I think.
Well, don't you think Houston, though, in their perspective, they don't really care what his regular season numbers are as long as he shows up and he's the postseason Correa that everybody talks about?
We'll see. They got to get to the postseason first. So the Mariners are doing plenty of favors for them to give them plenty of a gap there in the West.
Okay. Well, let's go here on the Minnesota Moment as much as we can find them.
Minnesota Moment.
I think I had to do like a conglomerate here because I don't know that there's any one moment that really adds up to what we would truly think of as a Minnesota moment. But so I'm going to say Buxton's 30th, Pablo's start, and this is the one that's the most minor, but I really appreciated. In game 3, Cody Clemens hits his home run. He's running out of the box, Dan. And I'm not going to point fingers or say who I'm talking about here, but I'll say not every Twins player, Dan, would have been running out of the box. They would have assumed that was a home run, but good on Cody Clemens. He was hustling out of the box in case that one didn't get out of the stadium.
Oh, Canada.
Is that the guy you're talking about, Eddie Julian?
Well, him, and I don't have a Willie Castro sounder, otherwise I would have played that also.
That was encouraging to see. Did he at least do a cool bat flip? Did he have a chance?
That's what I appreciated, is that he didn't because he wasn't sure if it was out. I mean, it was hit a long way to straightaway center, but he waited, didn't do a bat flip, and he started running out of the box in case it was in the field.
Well, so running is my thing too. So game 3, the double steal was so cool. It was well executed. We've seen the Twins try this before, right? We talked about the time when they tried it with Carlos Correa up to bat.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
But this one worked. Royce Lewis, there's 2 outs, runners at the corners. Royce is at first and Keyshal's at third. Royce takes off early, I think intentionally to try to draw the throw from the pitcher, gets the throw, he stops, and then Keyshal makes his run, and it was the perfect slide, right behind the catcher with kind of the left-hand swipe in. I love that timing. Obviously, Lewis then ends up at second. The irony, of course, is that after all that happens, Royce Lewis gets picked off at second base. He was quite sure that he was safe. He was kind of doing the gestures and stuff, but Rocco did his current gesture, which is kind of like the slash across, when he doesn't want any replay review.
Not the circle
No, he's
anymore.
off with the circle. I think he thought it was too confusing. Kind of like he's twirling his hair like in Count of Monte Cristo or something like that.
First of all, shout out Count of Monte Cristo. Fantastic movie, Dan. Underrated,
Absolutely.
I'd say, from the early 2000s. But Edmond Dantes. Anyway.
Speed of hand. That's the one that I like.
I'm yours for life.
Henry Cavill's in that movie. Listeners, you should go watch that movie. Anyway, we've divulged.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Well, great pitch, Dan, here for our Men for the Win in the film room, David and Dan. But so one note about Carlos Correa, they don't have all of his imagery removed from Target Field yet. I was sort of walking around, and so I just point at one. I was there with my brother-in-law, and I'd be like, missed one.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
Let's go. Mauer's musings here.
I just don't know how it can get any better.
Mauer's Musings.
So what are we to make of what we're seeing from Luke Keeschall right now? Because we have had excitement before from small sample sizes of a guy like Royce Lewis. But what I see from Luke Keeschall is pretty dang exciting. He seems like if he doesn't have 5 tools, he's at least got 4.
I have magic hair that glows.
Maybe
when
that's
I
his
sing.
6th tool. Is the cool hair, right?
We can't use the 6th tool as the title. I think we have like 4 episodes where we have the 6th tool, as the episode title. But so what I think is a little bit different about Luke Keeschall is that a lot of times when we get excited about a guy, it's because he has over the top power. But so much of what makes Luke Keeschall good is he's quick. His bat to ball speed is phenomenal, and he just seems like a very energetic player. And I think it's easier to get excited about that with a smaller sample size because so much of what he brings to the table is effort as opposed to 20 home runs in his first 80 games or something crazy like that.
Well, because then I think of this guy.
I am not throwing away my shots.
Yes. And how excited we were about him, but you're right. I mean, a lot of that was the power or a streak. Right. What I'm seeing from Keeschall is not about a streak. It's about a character of the way that he plays baseball, and he does the little things. He steals bases. Now, his fielding needs to come around. He's made a lot of mistakes in the field, I would say. But he doesn't make the base running mistakes like an Austin Martin has been making or something like that. He has that intuitiveness about baseball. He's in that way, he and Brooks Lee have that. And I'm excited about the pair of them potentially being that middle of your defense because I think they're both smart players. I think Brooks is still kind of learning how to play shortstop and be a leader type guy. But I like what I'm seeing from Keeschall. I think that's more sustainable potentially than what we were seeing from a guy like Royce Lewis.
Oh, definitely. No question. So flipping to the pitching side of things here, Dan. Let's just assume for 2026, the Twins make no moves. They don't trade anybody. Who are your starting 5 to begin the season?
Right. So it's got to be Pablo and Joe Ryan and still Bailey Ober. I think Bailey Ober this year is kind of weird. I don't necessarily, I think he played through some things that they normally would have liked to shut him down for because they needed him. So I think those 3 for sure. I think I want Zebby Matthews out there right now, just what he's shown this season. He's been able to bounce back from some difficult starts. I think he's done well in tough situations. I think right now, then I think maybe a Taj Bradley. I think given the fact that he's, again, because he's reading scouting reports now, something he wasn't doing before. I like those 5 right now with Festa has some injury concerns now that I think could be longer term. You just never know. Mick Abel is in there. I'm probably missing somebody right now too, but those are the 5 that I would want. SWR too, but I kind of wonder if he is who he is at this point, and he's a 5th or 6th guy. I think Taj Bradley has more upside than SWR does. And it's not to discount SWR and what he's meant. I don't know that he's as good as the other one.
That was what I was most interested in was your 5th choice. Because I assumed your 4 that you said would be the 4 for sure. I think Zebby's pretty much there. I don't know that he could do much to lose his spot. I think he's going to get 4 starts or so with the remainder of the season. I think unless he really screws up those 4 starts, I think he comes into spring training as the number 4 guy. Your 5th starter is the one that I was the most curious about because I don't know that I know either. SWR is the most seasoned, but I guess you can't even say that, right? Because you mentioned Taj Bradley, and now that he has scouting reports, it's fascinating. I still can't get over that, Dan. Shout out to Pulltab for the ad they put together about Taj Bradley because it was so funny just to contrast Taj Bradley with Greg Maddux in the way that they approach things. And I just think, sky's the limit for a guy who has the tools, and now he's given more and more information on how to pitch effectively. Good on him.
Go figure. More information helps with these situations. I spend so much time talking to football players, like college football players, who they spend hours every week watching film. The fact that this guy just rejects scouting reports, and I just can't imagine a football player doing that, so a baseball player doing that is hilarious to me.
All right, well, let's keep going here, Dan. Let's grade the series.
Series grades.
Giving them a C, Dan. I know they lost 2 of 3, but they tried, and it kind of looked like they cared. I mean, to your point about Rocco not having lost this team, I truly think this team is behind him, and they're going to see what they can do. And we can't be all hung up on the final, whether it's a win or a loss. We kind of have to see how this team is structured. We can't get so obsessed with the final results here, because this is very much in the ingredient mixing stage. We're not even in the oven yet, Dan.
No, we're not. I like that metaphor.
Ogres are like onions.
So momentum, I call this a 0. I think this is, if anything, I'd want to swing it towards the positive, I think, for the reasons you said. Decision making, I think that overall Rocco, like you said, he managed game 1 to win it. I think he managed game 5 really well. Second game, you have to do what you got to do. You got to throw those arms out. You can't use Justin Topa every game, right? So a +1 there. And then the older guys, having Lopez back is such a boost. Buxton played well. That's a +1. And the youth, I think a +1 overall, just kind of how they played. That comes out to a 17 out of 20, and that's a B, David.
Well, that's not bad, Dan. I mean, comparative. Again, to where we are in the season, we grade things in a vacuum at this point. I think looking at this team, a B is a solid grade.
Well, and speaking of solid grades and really kind of like the end of a season here, David, like you said, boats are getting put away. You're getting ready for next year. But I tell you, there's still time for you to go out and get some of those water toys and get ready for next season. Whether you're looking to give the kids the ride of their lives on one of Rave's state-of-the-art hyper tubes, you could get ready to chill out on the 4-person Big Easy, or you could get one of those Coda paddle boards. Either way, Rave Sports has your lake life covered. So make memories for next year. Get ready for it and make it the best summer at 2026 at ravesports.com. Don't forget to use the promo code PULLTAB for 20% off your order. Rave Sports, make waves.
I don't know, Jack. It looked like Herbeck pulled him off the bag.
Herbie's headlines.
Phillies Marlins, our guy, Harrison Bader, hits a home run to left field.
That's the best part is that he is at the center of this, and it gives us that great tie-in, right?
Oh, it's so great. Okay, so a ball is hit. There's so many angles that I need to ask questions about here, but I'm so excited to talk about this. So the ball is hit to left field, and it lands in an empty row. There's people sitting behind that empty row and people sitting in front of that empty row, but a guy from the section over one runs over and gets to the ball first. He gets the ball, then he walks back to his section, and he puts the ball in his son's glove, and then hugs his son in the most fatherly son moment that you've ever seen. He closes his eyes. Exactly. How can you not be romantic about this? It's a really touching scene, and honestly, when you first see that part of it, it just makes me think about the Blue Jays and the Judge fan, the kid who started to bawl when the fan gave him the Judge home run ball.
Yes.
And so it's that's the moment that this dad is having with his son right now. Right? It's Harrison Bader. It's not Aaron Judge. But you get it. Yeah, same difference here. But so in the moment, not necessarily the players. but so anyway, so as the man is embracing his son with his eyes closed, this woman who, okay, I don't love playing into the stereotypes, but this is very much can I see the manager haircut entering the frame? And so she grabs this man's arm pretty forcefully, forcefully enough that the man is very surprised. And his reaction was a bit cartoony. He put fists up and then shook a few times. It was a very weird reaction. But so this is all caught on cell phone footage. People are filming this because it's so crazy. She starts berating this man that the ball is hers because it was hit into their section and it was within her reach. Now, okay, so the man is talking with her. You can't really understand what he's saying, but the long and short of what happens, he ends up taking the ball out of his son's glove and gives it to the woman. And then the woman with a very hostile face walks back to her seat. Keep in mind, the rest of the game, she's getting booed and harassed by people around her. Yeah. And she's yelling back at the people. It's not good. But so, okay, a couple of questions here, Dan. First of all, can we just set some ground rules? I think you and I agree. Mm-hmm. Possession, 9/10 of the law here, Dan. When it comes to balls hit into the stands, whoever gets there and has full possession of the ball, it's their ball. It doesn't matter where your seat is located.
No, for sure. I think that's absolutely right. If you have your hand on it, it's in your... And a baseball is not hard to grip. This isn't like a football, right? Where you could have multiple people on it. If your hand is on the baseball, it's yours, right? It's wrapped around it like you're picking up a tennis ball or something like that, or a small melon, right? I mean, that's yours.
And you would be able to tell, there would have been a struggle for the ball if she had it in her hands. You would have seen her struggle to hang on to it, right? So that's not what happened here. Okay, so we agree on the ground rules. The balls are whoever gets it, 9/10 of the law, possession. That's what's happening here. My question, Dan, and this is the one that I find most interesting. If you're the dad in that situation, how does Dan Thompson handle that? Because I want to say one thing, because people are kind of raking the dad over the coals in some fashion, and some people are defending him aggressively. And I'll say, here's the two perspectives. Maybe you have a third, more nuanced approach, Dan, but here's my thought. First of all, he's either teaching his son, hey, some people just aren't worth the effort because they're just lunatics. It's just not worth it. But then the other people are saying, no, you should have stood your ground in that scenario. And so I'm curious what your thoughts are, Dan, and then I'll give my thoughts as well.
I think he did the right thing and just saying, fine, you can take the ball. This is not that big of a deal. It's just a baseball. It's just a baseball game. So taking the high road there seemingly is impressive. Now, the other thing, he could have realized in the moment, this would be really savvy, everybody's probably watching this and this is going to go viral.
Yeah.
So my choice here is really actually very important, because if I double down, am I the jerk who's keeping the ball from this woman? There's nothing bad can come of just saying, you know what? All right, fine. You can take the baseball. And it worked out great for him because then he got more swag from the Marlins after the whole ordeal. So I think either way, good on him for just stepping back. This is not a situation you need to escalate, right? And what are you teaching your son here in this situation? That baseball is that important, right? For a ball you didn't catch, right? This is not like it landed. I mean, he did have to go for it. So I think all in all, I like how the guy handled it.
Okay, so a couple of notes here too. We need to mention, the kid got a signed ball by Bader and a signed bat, and he got to meet him afterwards. Here's my thing. First of all, if you're the woman, if the guy had run over to your section, grabbed the ball, and walked back to his seat, and you're approaching him, okay, I wouldn't do that first of all anyway, but let's just say you did that fine. As soon as that ball is in his kid's glove, this is over. Like, you need to turn around because at this point, you are no longer an adult, you're a child. That is, you're taking a ball from a child. Like, that's what's happening in that moment. So let's just clarify that. Secondly, the kid is probably 12, 13 maybe. Yeah. I'm sort of guessing. That makes a difference too, because Dan, if I was there with my 2.5-year-old and I got this ball and I put it in his little baseball glove, if this woman, I'm sorry, Dan, I'm not going to hit a woman, but she's not getting that ball, right? Like, that's not going to happen.
I'm not a witch, I'm your wife.
But the age difference does matter.
It does matter,
right?
For sure.
But I just think that, I think in that moment I would be hard pressed to give up the ball, and I'm hard headed. I get it. And I'm not going to criticize the dad because I think you're right. And to be fair, this is a pretty good picture of you and I think often, you're pretty level headed in that moment where I'd be like, do you really want to do this? Because I will do this. That's like me on the phone with the season ticket holder rep. If you really want to go through these trades and how I feel about this organization, we can. I just can't imagine myself in that moment giving up that ball unless security compels me to do so. But I'm not doing that. She can sit there and yell at me all she wants, but I don't think I'm budging there.
Well, and one last thing is you can follow this on all kinds of social media accounts.
Yes.
I think people are being really mean to this woman too. And so I think people can be a little bit, at the end of the day though, this is still a stranger to so many people here. The fact that people have really strong opinions against it, to me, I would much rather land on the side of oh, this was entertaining. But this woman's life has been kind of ruined, at least for a little while here, for one bad decision.
Did they dox her and stuff? I
don't know. It just seems like that's something, at least publicly. She had made a mistake. I hope that she's able to admit to the fact that she handled this poorly. Right, for sure.
See, the thing is, though, I would be surprised. I'm just looking at the situation. The type of person it takes to go to the ball in the first place is not the type of person who's going to say, you know what, you're right. Taking a ball from a kid, not a good idea. Now, again, I am 100% judging the book by the cover here. I'm just saying, if she comes out on X or whatever and has a heartfelt apology and I'd had a couple of drinks, I don't go to that many baseball games, so I didn't understand the ball, the possession is 9/10 of the...
She didn't know the rule.
Sure.
Right?
Yes, but that's not... I do love that perspective that it's hers because it landed in her section.
That's not the rule. Yep,
that's not how this works at all. Okay, so we spent way too much time. I very much loved that. It was a very sociological conversation.
It was bigger than the baseball, I think, in that situation. For sure.
It would be fun to see a different world. How would you even find an analogous situation here to go along with that? But anyway, the other note here, the Dodgers-Orioles, folks, if you didn't go watch this replay, this is fascinating. So the Dodgers blow a 3-0 lead. Not just that, they blow a no-hitter.
Well, those don't matter, David. The no-hitter is not important here in this situation, obvious.
But so Yamamoto's on the mound. He's 1 out away from a no-hitter. Jackson Holliday hits a home run. So now it's 3-1 Dodgers. Blake Trinan comes in, gives up a double, a hit by pitch, a walk, and then another walk. So now it's 3-2 Dodgers. Tanner Scott enters. Emmanuel Riviera hits a 2 RBI single. The Orioles win this 4-3. They were down 0-3, a no-hitter, and they come back and win it in the bottom of the ninth, Dan. Talk about implosion.
I know. You got to stick around for the rest of the game. The Dodgers fans have been complaining. We were down there. They thought their bullpen was nothing. So it turns out they still nothing.
All right, great. Let's go on here, Dan. Let's make our picks for the upcoming Angels series.
And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Puckett's Picks.
The listeners are going to take Keishel, drops to me here. I'm going to take Buxton then, obviously. I think the knee's fine, Dan. Stop yelling at me about it.
I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school.
We'll see. I'm going to take Royce Lewis, and then Hogs, of course, is going to take, well, not of course, but he's going to take Austin Martin. He's pretty savvy. that Austin Martin there. We'll see. Hopefully he has a better series. Angels series, this is fun, right? What better time of year to go down to California? It's September. It's beautiful down there. Hopefully the Twins can take a series here and give us some hope for next year.
Let's hope so, Dan. Well, folks, if you like what you hear, please tell a friend. You can follow us on X at Men for the Win and find our Men for the Win Facebook and Instagram pages. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform so that you're notified when new episodes are available. And if you could leave us a rating or like, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to support the show further, you can find us on Patreon. Link in the description. Thanks for listening, and as always, go Twins.
That'll wrap up another episode of Men for the Win, a podcast hosted by David Kufis and Dan Thompson, two avid fans who appreciate well-played baseball, especially when it's done by the Twins. Thanks so much for listening, and as always, go Twins.